Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome to my messy desk. I have been busy playing with papers today, and I thought I'd turn the camera on and share a little bit of what I've been doing. So I've been in the mood to just create journal covers. I haven't really been in the mood to fill them and finish them. Sometimes I just like to mass produce things, and I had a bunch of hardcover books that were kicking around that I want to kind of start using up. So I've been playing with some journal covers, and I like to make these covers and journal covers ready to use. So I collect them and then I put them together and I decorate them. So this is the first one. I usually leave them pretty plain, not a full theme. Sometimes I'll have a theme, sometimes I won't. And I just play and decorate. So it's really just using up scraps at this point. And then I leave them flat. And then when I'm ready to create a journal, I can grab one and finish the cover or add some themed elements to it. So that's what I've been working on today. So that's one. Here's another one. So this one might have a bit of a theme with some bees. So this could turn into a little bee journal. And again, it's just taping things together. I prefer the softer round edges as opposed to the hard edges. It's just the kind of style book I like. So that's usually what I make, depending on what I have handy. So there's another one. And here's another one. So really just playing with scraps. I like to leave things like this open so that I can draw something in there later and put something along the spine here. So you can see it's really just playing with papers and creating these little mini ready to use and fill journals. So here's my last one that I just finished. So this one I just drew a little drawing on it, so this will probably be more of a botanical themed type journal. So there's some beautiful washi tape from the washi tape shop. A lot of these papers are from Your Creative Studios that I use, and the Gabby box that I opened. Some really beautiful papers. This one is some eco dyed that I did. So really getting to use up a lot of scraps and some supplies that I have. I'll link all those below, and then if you're interested, you're more than welcome to check them out for papers and tape and things like that. I'll try and remember to start linking things that I use in my videos. I'm notorious for forgetting, because I'll film my videos and then I won't upload them for a couple of weeks because one, my internet's garbage, and two, I try to spread out my videos. I try to get all my videos recorded on my day off. So today is my day off. I'm not feeling the best, so if I start coughing, I apologize. But I'll show you how I make one of these just for fun. And then I just collect them like this, and then they're ready to go when I need them. My desk is a disaster, as usual. I don't think you'd recognize me unless my desk was a mess. So I find these hardcover books for like $1 at a thrift shop. And this one is The Summary of Canadian Commercial Law. I don't think anybody's going to miss this book. I don't know how people had the patience to read and study that. But what I do is I find how the book is kind of built. And usually they have these kind of lips in the, oh my goodness, my brain, in the spine here. So I slide my scissors right down here. See if I can do it. And then I start cutting. And I basically releasing all the paper from the cover by doing that. So it opens up. And then I go to the other side and I snip this out. And now I've released the signatures from the cover, and I just throw this in my pile of scraps to use. So I'll just put that there for now. And now I have an actual cover that I can just decorate, but I prefer my books a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this right in half, and then I'm going to get 2 smaller journals out of it. I'm more partial these days to a much smaller journal. I don't know why I like them compact right now. There was a time where I liked them bigger, but now I just like the little minis. That's what I enjoy making. So I'll probably go back to the bigger ones at some point. So basically I take my measurement, which is the 8 1/4, and I will do 4 1/8. I'll use my math skills. And I slice this right in half. If I can get it to go straight. Reline that up. So it's a pretty thick cover, so I'm just gonna give it a little bend, flip it over, line it up again, make sure I'm lined up, and slice it on this side. There we go. So I can do it like this, where I have a longer one. That's kind of fun. Maybe we'll do that on this one. And then this one, I will take this piece out. And rotate them lengthwise. And then before I do that, I want to make sure I've got a piece to use. So here's a scrap. So this one we'll keep this way, because that's kind of fun. That could be a cute little watercolor pad, portable watercolor paper pad. And then this one, instead of going this way, we'll rotate this way. And I'm going to chop this down to about, no, this is pretty rigid. I don't want rigid. Let's find something softer. Some scrap somewhere. I have so many scraps. Here's a scrap. So I'm going to chop a piece of this down. So this is just a file folder. It's pretty heavy duty file folder, but not quite as rigid, because I don't like I said, I like the soft covers. Well, not soft cover, but soft spines. Let's just make this a little bigger, because that is not square. And then I'm just going to rotate this, put it down to 1 inch. And then I'll just chop the length I need. I know, I'm using my cutter. Can you believe it? I kind of have to with this. I'll drive myself nuts if I don't have a decent square cover. Oops, I missed. So I used my cutter for that part. All right, there we go. Put the scrap back. And move this out of the way. And we'll clear some room. So I put some blankets down and a piece of cardboard, and I'm really hoping that that will help with my echo that I was having with my desk. It's just one of those Costco desks, so it's hollow, and it creates this awful echo sound in my videos. I apologize. I still haven't got a new desk yet. I probably won't until I move into my studio upstairs, once the house is finished being built. But I'm hoping that this blanket situation will improve the echo sound. So all I do is I line it up. I just do it visually, and I hope that I tape it even. It's just tape. I just peel it off if it's not. So I sometimes use the white duct tape, and sometimes I use the clear, depending on if I want to cover the whole journal, which I think I will on this one. I want to at least cover the spine. So I'm going to close it off together with this tape. And this is just regular packing tape. I just stick it down, flip it over. Just make sure I'm in frame here. I'm just going to cut off this messy end. I probably should have cleaned my desk before I turned on the camera, but I was on a roll with these journals, and I just thought I would share it. So this is creased over, so I'm going to have to retape that in just a sec. So my line here, my tape is stuck together. Let's see if I can fix it. Just drop that down. And then go back the other way a little bit. You just want to reinforce everything so that the book stays together, and then we're going to tape and decorate it anyways. So I like to leave about a 1/8 of a seam inside so that these are not prohibited in any way, the cover and the back, the front and the back cover, I should say. And that way I know that they'll move freely. Okay, and then I just kind of give my book a bit of a bend, just because that's how I like them. Okay, now we got a little journal. Now the fun begins. You get to cover it. So for me, I really love the rough edges of the old books. So I've got an old red book here, another old green one, and I really enjoy exposing the rough edges. But if you wanted to cover all the rough book, just use a bigger sheet and kind of fold it over. But again, I like to use these. I like to show this green here. So this is a little pad of paper with some really cool old looking papers in them, and that is from Your Creative Studios, that one. They've got some great papers. So I think what I'm going to do is just find maybe a little taller paper. Let's use the book piece of page that came out of this book. So I want to create a nice closure. A nice, what do I mean by closure? I mean like cover for the spine. So let's just see here. I'm going to cut away all this negative space. So I just want the text to show on this right now. This is pretty old thin paper. I might just double it up. Actually, let's do this so there's no seam. It's like you would seam binding on a sewing project. I want to see how wide I want to make it too. And I just play. I play with different designs on every one I do. And so no two book covers are the same. They might be done the same way, but they're decorated differently. And that way when I collect enough signatures or random papers like these books that I take out of the middle of these books, then I can start creating signatures and I'm ready to go. I like that. That works. Okay, so let's glue. I recently purchased this glitter art glue. It's pretty strong glue, but one, it was really expensive. Couldn't believe how expensive it was. And two, it's very wet. So I'm not sure I love it yet. It's a lot more wet than I was expecting. You know, I guess I'm used to the, what's it called? The, that 3-in-1, which is more like a, apparently I can't talk today. A more like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Acetone. Oh my goodness. An acetone-based glue, which is what I usually use. I'm just going to put this down because I'm not sure how I want to glue the other side yet. And I want to use a bit of a stronger glue than just your regular glue stick. I'm just going to leave that there for a sec. Trying to see if it's pretty centered, which I think it is. Push any extra glue out. Kind of feel those spots where the page sinks in with the center of the book. All right. So do I want to just fold that over? I think so. That works. Let's do it. So I like these little projects. They're fun and pretty quick. And then I have a little mass production ready to make some fun journals with. And it uses up all my scraps. So I was actually working on another project and I had all these scraps on the table. I thought, oh, I gotta find something else to use all these scraps from now. And then I thought, let's just use up these journal books. These books I've got kicking around from the thrift shop. So there we go. Okay, so I've covered the spine. And now I have this kind of nice, let's make sure it is glued, I have this kind of nice edge here, so I can leave the green exposed, for example, right here, if I want to, which I probably will, because this book's in pretty good shape, and it looks nice. Put my lid on before I waste my expensive glue. And now I can play. So where'd that sheet? Like this one. So I can rip this down and just start playing with decorating the cover with whatever I have on hand. Make sure I am working in frame here. Sorry. The camera's a little far back. I'm just going to pull it forward a bit because I'm going to naturally want to work close to me. And right at the bottom here. So I don't measure much. I don't stress over it being perfect. I just have fun playing with paper. So for this, I will use a glue stick. I'm not worried about getting glue where it shouldn't be. I'm a messy crafter. It's just my nature. I've come to accept it. I'm not fighting it anymore. Getting mad at myself because I can't stay organized, or getting upset because I can't find something. It's just, I've just come to terms with the fact that you are that person. Here's another little, this one is also from Your Creative Studios. Another really pretty paper. Make a collage here. So you can see I'm not concerned about the orientation of the writing either. That also doesn't bother me. Now some people that will drive crazy, but I tend to look at these things as textures and not so concerned about the orientation of things, because it's all about playing with paper and texture and not so much the writing on the book itself. So that's kind of fun. Something like that. You can also, you know, stain these papers, coffee dye these papers, use ink. We'll probably use ink towards the end and ink them up. And I'm basically just creating an interesting composition of paper on the front. And then I'll move to the back and maybe come back to this. We'll see. See what we got. Here's a nice little piece. So just scraps. And basically creating, what do they call those? Like a board. I can't think today. I apologize. I think it's this cold. It's fogging up my brain. Where they just kind of cut up papers and glue them to a page. And then you can cut those pages up and create tags and stuff with them. It's got a name, and I really can't think of what it is right now. A master board, I think they call it. So we're making mini master boards on these covers, because you can always add more stuff to them after. And I'm just going around pulling out scraps here. Here's some more scraps I can pull out. These are not so much scraps, these square ones. These are actual papers. Here's a nice scrap. Like the numbers in that. Get rid of this blank spot. I could do this for hours. This is just so much fun, gluing down random pieces of paper. Nothing makes me happier, really. And just collaging papers. What's your favorite craft when it comes to papers? Do you like this part? Do you like making the journal? Do you like doing the sewing the signatures the most? Everybody's got their favorite part about this process. Mine is just gluing and cutting and decorating. I do like the like when the journal all comes together, but I don't like the sewing part. I'm too impatient for some reason. That's my least favorite part, is the sewing. but we all have something. Something like that. Let's do it. So just filling in these little spots. Just having fun. And then maybe I'll put some focal point on the back. And then you can put something else on top of that and do a painting on the back, or a message on the back, an inspirational saying, or whatever you want. Whatever inspires your journal. I like having a bunch of these on hand, and I haven't done them for quite some time, so I don't have any left. Having these ready to go. So now maybe just a scrap of watercolor paper. I must have some of that kicking around. My messy scraps here. Don't you love looking through people's scrap piles? Like seeing what they have? Everybody's got different scraps. All right. You eyeball this. This is watercolor paper, so we'll use a heavier glue for this. Use this glitter glue again, just to make sure that it doesn't lift. And then we can paint something on there when we go to use this book. So maybe by the time I decide to use this cover, I'll have a theme in mind for it. And then I can paint that theme on this piece of watercolor paper. And stick that right there. So that's the back. Let's see what we want to do for the front. I haven't decided yet. I think we'll leave that for now. And let's do the inside. So I like to just basically collage the whole inside. The same way I did the outside. Only this time a little less green, because the green is going to be missing at the top here where we cut the book in half. Make sure the camera's down the other side this time, so I have to move over this way. Stop out the way. You know you're having fun when all the scraps are in your face. You have scraps, so many scraps, and so much stuff on your desk. I bet some people are just going nuts looking at how much stuff's on my desk and thinking, how could you work like that? I know my mother would be. If she was around today watching me right now, she'd give me heck. Michelle, why or how is it you have not cleaned that table and then have the nerve to make a video? How can you show people how messy you are? It's embarrassing. My mom was a lovely woman, and she was always so neat and organized and clean. That I realized that towards the end of her life was her hobby. When my hobby is making the mess, her hobby is cleaning the mess. And her house was always clean and organized. She knew exactly where everything goes, but she was never very creative. Like, it wasn't her thing to create things. And I think that might be the difference. I shouldn't say that, because a lot of creative people are very organized, don't get me wrong. But for me, I get inspired when things are clean, and I want to use that space and go, yeah, I'm ready to start a new project. But I find when I'm working, my stuff is never organized. Like, I have stuff just everywhere. And my priority is to create, not to organize. And I think that's where my mom and I were so different. It's pretty funny. She's not with me anymore. I sure do miss her. I had a rough day the other day thinking about her. Thinking how much I miss her, but that's life. And She was a great mom, so I was blessed to have such a lovely mom. All right, so this is for my digital kits, and I've been going through all these ones that I keep finding and I never use my own digitals half the time, so I thought cut them up and use them. So I'm gonna go over here to this side. And just glue. So this is more like a craft along with me video today. You know, get your glue sticks out, get your scraps going, put your tea on or your glass of wine, and create some journal covers with me. And it's nice to have this little cluster. Even if you're not the kind of person who likes to pre-make things, try it. See if you make a few of these and have them kicking around, what it would do for you. You know, you might find that it's kind of nice to have something ready to use in your repertoire. I love it. I always have something like this kicking around ready to go because sometimes I'm just not in the mood to create a full journal all at once. I just want to do the parts I like, what I'm in the mood to do. So sometimes I'm in the mood to do the signatures. Sometimes I'm in the mood just to paint pictures. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. You do you, is what I always say. And I'm just going to do this one journal with you today. Just a quick video today. Just to maybe inspire you to create some journal covers and use up some materials you have. I'm making these fun master boards. As you can see, I'm not overthinking it. I don't want to spend my time going back and forth on too many things. Just grabbing. What I do find helps with that is pulling out scraps that are kind of cohesive to each other. So in this case, as you can see, it's pretty muted colors. I don't pull out a huge array of things. I just pull out a cluster of similar colored papers, and that kind of makes the guesswork a little easier. This pie is a bit thick. I think he needs to go on top. There we go. Okay, and then I have this, if I lost my lid, probably. All right, I'll find it after. I have this kind of medical tape, first aid cloth tape, and I like to use this on the inside sometimes. It's just something a little different. Adds another texture because it kind of feels like fabric. Well, I guess it is if it's cloth. And it takes the ink really nicely, kind of dirties up quite nice, which is what I'm into. And it's nice and sticky, so it just finishes off the inside quite nicely. Nice and easy and quick, and it's super cheap. You can get it at the dollar store. And maybe some sharper scissors while you're there. All right, there we go. So there's my inside cover. I don't like this piece. It's too thick. I'm going to scrap that. Put something else there. Sorry, thought I was done that, but I didn't like that piece of paper. Created too much of a ridge. And let's put it on. Maybe a piece of this. I can start using my own. Take that off. Yeah, so whatever you have on hand, magazines, construction paper, digitals that you've bought, scrap mail, all kinds of fun stuff. Just use up those scraps and have some fun with it. So this could become like a black and white drawing book. Now that I'm using these black and white focal points. So there's the inside, kind of like that. We'll go back to the outside. Do something a little more dramatic out here. Let's see if I got any more of my scrap prints printed. I have these too big. Pine cone. I think that's all I have. What else have I got? Watercolor scraps, some really old postcards that are too big. Ooh, that's fun. Something like that. Let's add to the scrap pile. More white clear scraps. Maybe something with this on here so we can sketch something in after. Yep, I like it. Just make it off center like that. And then we can draw something in there. I like the dark coffee side. I should probably have used that other glue. It's pretty thick cardstock. There we go. And then I like to do something in the spine, just a scrap, soft kind of brown paper. Something clear though. Something I can add to it after. Don't like that color. These scraps were organized actually not too long ago. They were sitting in my, oh look at that, like it was meant to be. Sitting in my little cluster pile that I organized the other day. I was quite proud of myself. Well, it was more out of necessity because I couldn't move. It's like it's just, I'm invaded by scraps. So I sorted them out. And now it looks like this again. So just down the center of the spine. So I can either type something out and stick it on here. And there we go. There's another journal cover ready to rock. And they're just so much fun to create. So should we do one more? Should we do the watercolor one? You guys want to stick around? All right, let's try it. Let me do something a little bit quicker on this one because I like this green. This isn't very neat. So let's chop that off. Well, I was just going to do one, but I'm having fun. So if you want to keep crafting with me, let's do it. Kind of like the way that looks. Something that simple on this one. Now, this isn't watercolor paper. This is just some sort of business card feeling paper. But we could do watercolor image on that and create a really cute little watercolor journal in here using watercolor scraps. Okay, so what do we want to put on here? Let's, do we want to go lighter and then use the dark side? Or do we want to go darker paper and use the light side? I think we'll go dramatic on the watercolor. And do this. Now I can't decide. See, I start thinking. No, let's do this one. So we'll go darker on the background. So again, just glue going down. Make sure you use a lot so that your pages don't roll up. Let's cut this writing off here. I want the texture of the font to come through on the side of that. I guess I should have cut it to size, duh. Actually, this edge is straight. Let's use this edge. That's the nice thing about the glue stick too, is you got a little bit of time to play. Because I forgot to do this part. There we go. That and another one of these guys. These are, I believe, from your Creative Studios as well. I've kind of mixed them together now. All the ones I have done videos on, reviews on these boxes. And I tell you, I haven't been disappointed with any of those boxes. They've got some really fun papers in them. But now they're mixed together. I can't tell you if they're who they're from, but they're out of either one of that company, your Creative Studios or the Grabby Box. They're both make some beautiful papers and really fun boxes to open. Coming home from the mail and getting one of those is so much fun. It's like, oh, I can't make dinner right now. I gotta go and open the box and create something. My husband's not so happy to see those boxes. Oh, great. I guess I'm making my own dinner tonight. All right, where'd that card go now? There it is. Yeah, I like that. Pretty simple. Maybe even this way because of these holes. No, I like it this way. Maybe the holes at the bottom. And then you could even punch like a hole through here, through the journal, and create like, put some string through there. Maybe we'll do that. So maybe I'll do that at the top. See if my punch will actually go through it. Just for something completely different. Where'd my fancy glue go? Here it is. So again, it's a heavier cardstock, so I'm going to use a heavier duty glue so I don't lose my cover. So this would be a nice little portable watercolor journal. You know, doing little studies. Just going to smear this to the edge. So make sure my edges are glued really well. All right, stick her down. There we go. Yeah, there's very little playroom with this glue. Let's do that right now. Let's put the hole in just to remind me to do that. Otherwise, I will forget. Just using my crocodile here. So I can see this next hole. This pretty heavy duty guy goes through a lot of cardboard. Okay, so because I still want to decorate the inside, so I'll have to punch the hole again, but if I don't do it, I'll probably forget. And then we can feed some string or something through there. I kind of like the green, so I might just put something here, so I can maybe put like watercolor across there when the time comes. Something that simple. Just something like that. I'll leave the green exposed because this is in good shape and I kind of like the old patina look. And then let's continue on to the other side. Flip these over a little, see what we get. There's a piece. It's kind of got a green tinge to it, which I don't want. Do this. I don't know where these papers are from. I think I may have ordered these on Amazon. That I won't be able to link because it would have been a very long time ago. But I think it's when I first started journaling and scrapbooking and stuff that I bought some of these. They're very thin. They aren't the best quality. Any more of those old pages? I really like that one. This one here, sort of deal. Keep this square because I don't think I'm going to do a watercolor image on the back. These are obviously just old book pages I'm kicking around. So very muted. color scheme, but still kind of yields a nice result. And that doesn't mean the book won't change as you start putting a theme in it. You know, if you say, oh, I want a book about roses, well, then you can simply add those colors into this, because you're basically starting with a nice neutral colors. That's the other thing I like to do, is when you have a neutral palette like this, then you can add anything you want color-wise to it as you're designing your themed book. So like, I can simply decide, oh yeah, I'm going to turn it into flowers, and now I have a very basic palette where I can add color to it. I haven't chosen a color other than this green, which is pretty neutral as well. So let's do some more. Let's chop this. Don't think I want World War in there. That's depressing. So we'll get rid of that. Get rid of those holes, and I'll punch them in again when we're ready. I'm actually getting lower on scraps. This has actually been pretty effective. Here's a pretty pale blue. I don't think I want to use it though. It's been pretty effective to fill up and use up my scraps, which feels great. Not that that's a scrap, but you know what I mean. It's fun to watch YouTubers and see what their scraps look like. Some people have some really beautiful scraps. Like, man, I could get that collection of paper. I'm jealous. And it takes a long while to collect enough paper, variety of paper. It doesn't happen overnight, unless you've got a lot of money you can spend on Etsy and things like that, sure. But when you're just starting, it is a lot of fun to collect papers, and next thing you know, you have a desk like this. Right. I have too much paper. Oh, that'll go the right way here. Oh my goodness. Come on, tear. I mean, you could even leave this blank. Kind of want to now. Now that I put glue on it, because you could just put a nice piece of, maybe that's what we'll do actually, because that is the back. Let's just put a scrap of watercolor paper on there. And that way we have a place to watercolor. So this is, it's not very good watercolor paper. What else have I got for scrap? I don't think I have any scrap watercolor papers left right now that are that small. Oh, that's got a drawing on it. So I will take my watercolor pad. I have these ones that are kind of yucky and damaged. So they are scraps. They're scraps for me anyways, because, you know, you're not going to paint a masterpiece over something that's got a mark on it. And then we'll just, I'm going to try and cut this as best I can, which we know is going to be crooked. And it's okay. Where do I want to go to? Say about here. And then just cut it. Throw this in the paper cutter if it's really crooked. It's not bad. And now I have a mounted piece, which is kind of fun. And if you paint on it, you watercolor on it. Remember, these are just little travel books, little experimental size books. But if you watercolor on this and it's already glued to the book and you don't like the watercolor, well, then you just glue scraps of paper over top of it. So nothing's really permanent. But it is nice to have a surface ready to go. And I'm talking just plain, because you're putting glue on the back of your watercolor paper, which you wouldn't normally do. But it is, I mean, maybe you're just do a sketch on this one, a landscape sketch or something. You don't know where it's going to take you until you go to use it. But now it's ready to use. Well, not yet. You got to do the signatures. Just going to hold that corner down. It's rolling up. My dirty fingers. Okay, I'm just going to use some tape, I think, again, if I can find it. Come on, tape. There it is. And just finish the inside here real quick. Nothing too special on the inside. It's a nice wide one here, so you can fit quite a bit of paper in here. Kind of just tidy this end up a bit more. Okay, that's cute. All right, let's just put the string or some cord or kind through here. I don't even know what cord I have available on my, where I am right now, but I'll see what I've got. All right. What do I have? I have my usual go-to, my elastic cord, and I have this cord here. Don't have a lot on hand right now, and I have that. Let's see what this looks like. I'll just try it, see if we like it. We can always change it. Just feed it through. So you can either put just a straight thing across and the ribbon in the back, but I think I'm going to tie the knot to the front, see if I like it. And you could put those reinforcing brads in here as well, if I can feed it through, because it is pretty thick, that one. This one's pretty small. All right, and feed this one through. Come on. Come on. Cooperate. Cooperate while my camera's rolling, please. Okay, maybe we'll just use these two, so you don't have to sit there and watch me try to get the other one in. Okay, and then just tie a knot, I guess. Just for something different. So those papers with holes in them might inspire you to come up with an idea of doing something completely different that you hadn't thought of before. I could find a nicer type of string too later when I decide to turn it into a theme, but there you go. Like a nice antique piece of ribbon through here or something would be really cute. And then at least flat on this side. So if you like the flat side on the outside, but just another journal cover. So there we go. So we got that one. We did this one, which we could draw on if you want. I don't know how long this video's been going for. I think we'll just leave it. You get the drift. So we did that one with the inside, which I really like the black and white contrast there. And then I did this one, the bee themed one, the little guys. And again, just using scraps and just some sketches. Some washi tape, and there you go. There is our mass journal cover making. So now I have several journals ready to go when I want them, and I just start collecting signatures, cutting the signatures down to fit in. Well, I hope that inspires you, gives you some ideas to use up all those hardcover books you might have kicking around, and create something fun and unique. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye.